I'll be talking about a bit about mindfulness and the brain scans that we did to evaluate the effects of mindfulness practice. But before I go into that, just have a brief overview of what goes on in our minds. So what happens is that we constantly have thoughts running through our heads, whether we like it or not, whether we want to or not want to. So they're like waves in the sea that just keeps crashing in our minds. And sometimes there are small waves, sometimes there are big waves. But as long as we are conscious and alive, these waves are ongoing. And we seldom find that we have no thoughts in our heads. Yeah. So I think that when we allow these thoughts, these waves to overwhelm us, it can quite easily drown. We can quite easily drown in this vast array of different thoughts and the feelings and the memories that are associated with these thoughts. And we don't keep them in check, we will be very quite easily overwhelmed. So what we need to do is actually to maintain focus, sense of purpose, so that we can remain steadfast in the worst storms in our lives, as well as the storms in our head. Now, if you imagine the brain within us is made up of millions of tracks, and these tracks are like the roads on the streets we know. And there's a massive road map going on in our brain in all directions. You can see from the picture here, which is a front view, a top view, and a side view of our brain, and showing all these tracks that are within our brain. So what happens when we are, and of course, every road will have traffic lights. Some of them will signal for the track to go. Some of them will signal for the track to stop. Okay, and when we are bogged down with things like stress, anxiety, worry, fear, depression, and self-doubt, all these will put a stop to our normal flow, and we get stuck. We can get stuck with stress, we can stuck with fear, we can stuck with worry, and these things tend to make our brain work not so well, right? And what happens is that in mindfulness, what it teaches you is that the contents of your mind do not matter so much. What matters more is how you let these thoughts and these contents in your mind affect you. And these will hold power over you if you allow them to drag you wherever they lead, right? And instead of allowing yourself to be trapped in a jam of thoughts and emotions, mindfulness teaches you to watch them come and go. So thoughts will come, thoughts and go, and it will teach you to allow them to flow around you and to flow past you, so that you don't get caught up in the waves of your thoughts and emotions. So you can imagine all the traffic lights will go from a stop sign to a green sign that allow your thoughts to flow freely and without you attaching distress to them. And how do you quantify this? So they teach you all these things, but how do you quantify it in the brain? So we can we came up with this method of looking at functional connectivity. We developed a method to measure the efficiency of connectivity in the brain. And we measured them using brain scans before and after mindfulness practice for 3 months. And also we did a comparison pre and post in the control group who attended health talks. So the results generally showed that those in the mindfulness group had better temporal global efficiency. What this means is that there is greater information flow and transmission efficiency between various parts of the brain from one end to the other. It connects more freely and flows more smoothly. So these we managed to quantify what the effects of mindfulness are enabling these thoughts to be more efficient. And one of the in terms of a cognitive function for this subset of subjects that went through the scans, verbal recognition memory improved in the mindfulness group, but not in the controls. So when you have an uncluttered mind, it seems like it allows a certain cognitive functions to improve. And in this case, it was the verbal recognition memory that was more obviously improved than the other cognitive domains.